So yeah, at this point I have run Operation Logic Bomb quite a few times, and it occurs to me that back when I started playing this, I was saying, you know, eventually I should go for a 1cc in it, and I still haven't done that. And the speedrun isn't a 1cc because I take an intentional death. So, figure, well, let's actually get that 1cc over with, huh? So, to make things, one, a bit more interesting, and two, actually potentially less risky, I'm also going to make it a all items 1cc. And also, I have a timer over here. This is mostly casual, but we will see how long it takes anyway for kicks. So, I'm going to go ahead and hit start on both these things. I'll try to be sort of fast with this, but I'll also try to be somewhat careful, especially in the outside section, since I don't want to take an intentional death if I'm trying to do a 1cc here. But I am going to go... I'm not going to bother taking the maps, so like, that terminal down there, for example, has a map in it. Which, if you hit the pause button, will show you a map of this section. What did I say about not taking too much damage? It's okay, it'll be fine. And even if it's not fine, just means I'll restart in a few minutes, which isn't a big deal. Speedrun-wise, this game is completable in like 22-23 minutes. And getting the one additional item that you normally don't get in speedrun adds maybe a minute to that. Actually, technically it adds like 45 seconds. But yeah, so there are map terminals which I'm not going to bother with because I know where to go already. What is this guy doing? So you'll see I'm using the spread weapon a lot, but I'm actually mashing the button. So if you just hold down the button, which is what I'm doing now, this is the speed it fires at, but if you mash, you can potentially fire faster. So we do that in speedruns. I'm doing it here just because I'm used to doing it now. But again, I'm not really speedrunning at this point, because in the speedrun route, I would take an intentional death, and I'm going to try not to do that, because I want to try to 1cc it instead. So here's the first cutscene of the game. The game has a variety of cutscenes. None of them actually have words in them, so it's kind of left open to interpretation. But basically, there's a lot of robotic crabs from a virtual world or something that are, like, invading the real world, I guess. And that yellow guy said something about the crab's mother that I didn't like, so rip that yellow guy. So every so often there's these things you have to destroy. Destroying these capsules kind of restores part of the world to how it's supposed to be. And destroying those little, like, terminal, server, whatever they are, things, usually deactivates barriers or shooty things or whatever. Yeah, so those hexagonal things are dimensional errors and you can't walk over them. Was that a Zaki host? Thanks for the host. I can barely read that from here. Looking at my OBS window in the background. Yeah, thanks Zaki for the host. I just looked over at Streamlabs over here. Sorry, I should have thought about opening up, hanging out in voice chat. But I can do that after the 1cc, hopefully. I imagine, Zaki, you've probably 1cc'd this at some point, right? Hell, I've probably watched you 1cc it, and I just don't remember. But there are things that can go wrong in terms of trying to 1cc this thing. Hopefully those won't go wrong. And I'm going to go out of my way to get the secret weapon. Hey, we go back in here now, right. You can go back, you can go up there, but you can't actually proceed through that area until you get this thing, which is the reflecting laser, which bounces off walls, quite literally. So this game has a couple of interesting, like, almost Metroidvania aspects. Okay, I'm not going to tank damage from both of these guys. So these guys actually will explode if they walk into you, or slide into you, or whatever it is that those blobs do. They don't really have legs. Which, when we're speedrunning, we actually let them walk into us because it's faster. Because they actually take quite a few hits to kill. And also, if they move into you, they explode immediately. As opposed to if you kill them via damage, then they take a while to do their explosion animation. So this is our first health refill here. There's a few of these in the game. And I'll probably try to take all of them. Note to self, take the one after the first boss. So this is the first time that well, actually you don't need to use the reflecting laser on this, but it's faster to do that than walk all the way in there. These green things will do constant damage to you if you connect with them, if you walk over them, so try not to do that. So I just tanked damage from the blobs there, which will be fine. There will be another health refill before the first actual boss. What are these guys doing? I don't like this. What the? Jeez, dude! Seriously? Glad I'm not actually trying to speedrun this right now. That guy had an appointment somewhere, I don't know. So these guys, if you never shoot at them, then they will never activate, and they'll just sit there shooting into space. If you do hit one of them, though, Lord help you, because they're gonna go ballistic. I mean, casually, you're expected to just kind of pick them off from a distance, I suppose. The one thing worth noting about those yellow guys is they only ever shoot vertically or horizontally. They never shoot diagonally, so if you do set them off, if you approach them diagonally, it's generally safer. However, from a speedrun perspective, when you're using the spread weapon, something that Jackham has pointed out to me is that unless you're basically embedding your weapon within the enemy's hitbox, you actually want to be shooting vertically or horizontally, because that is the only way that the weapon will make all 3 shots hit at the same exact moment. And most enemies have iframes, so you want the shots to hit at the same exact moments that all 3 actually do damage. Yeah, man, that red guy really was going places. It's like, ooh, that teleporter you came from sure looked interesting. Let's go there. So that cutscene was actually a foreshadowing for a section we will be at later. Kind of showing the dimensional errors they introduced to the outside world. It's okay, we'll fix them eventually. What is that guy doing? Alright, fine. That guy's not dead yet. Wow, I am like way safe on health right now. It's kind of ridiculous, actually. Not sure how good I'm really doing in the mashing department tonight, so I'm actually not sure about doing runs after this. So, this cutscene explains what the heck we're just seeing in that room, because there's this sort of wrecked claw thing on the ground and 3 dead guys. And, well, there's 2 of them. And, oh, this guy has a nice weapon. And there's the dead claw thing. And, oh, there's the 3rd dead guy. Although, for some reason here, they're all green. One of those guys was definitely not wearing green. Also, you can do this for some reason. I don't think you can shoot that, though. Also, if you come into contact with that again, you will end up triggering the cutscene again. Don't do that. There's no reason to do that. You have to watch it once to activate the teleporter, but beyond that, no. So now, we get to stop mashing for a while, because we get a weapon that does far higher and faster damage output. And we also need to use this weapon on that boss, as the cutscene suggested. So here's the second health refill. And the last one before the first boss. And here is first boss. Oh, hey, it's that crab thing we saw in the cutscene. And oh hey, he's still missing a claw. Yay, consistency in video games. Wow, it did not get to fire a single spark from that. Cool. Uh-oh. 2 sets of missiles. Oh well. Doesn't matter, I'm gonna take a health refill here anyway. Because the outside section, I'm used to taking tons of damage on, but I actually want to try to avoid doing that this time. So, this is very easy to miss, but there is a health thing down here. In a speedrun, you would never take this because it wastes time. And there's actually a really convenient intentional death setup after this next section. But here is the outside section. And for some reason, there are rock turrets that are kind of rude. Alright, we're gonna try not to take intentional damage here. Normally I would tank 2 of those things. Each of those, when they explode on you, does 3 damage. So it's very easy to calculate how much damage you want to take. Alright, now this is the troublesome section. I expect to take some damage in the next 2 sets of turrets. Whoop. Okay, I actually didn't take damage there. That's cool. I was fully expecting to. Now here I'm totally gonna take damage because, like, being careful here is just, like, not worth the precise setup that it requires. Okay, I took 2 hits there. That's not terrible. That's really not terrible. Now, ideally, I don't have to take any damage to the entire rest of this section, but let's just see what happens. That guy really didn't want to die as soon as I thought he would. Whoops. Oh well. Anyway, being in the blue here is completely unheard of in a speedrun. So this should be fine. Between this and not taking intentional hits from blobs later on, we should be fine until the next health refill. And because I'm gonna attempt to remind myself to take the extra weapon that you don't normally take in speedruns, and in casual playthroughs even, what am I doing? That will help for the second boss, which is the other X factor, really. What's that guy doing? Alright. But yeah, other than, like, tanking blobs and stuff, I'm still generally doing speedrun type stuff. And a lot of it just comes down to remembering what enemies spawn where. Because, like, the spawns are completely set and deterministic. But there are some enemies that move with some amount of randomness, and those could be jerks for speedrun purposes. These fires, for instance. What? Wow, that hurt. Okay. Oh, geez, that's not cool. Those guys really moved right into the line of fire, literally. Okay, so, in a normal playthrough, I would go to the bottom right. But we're gonna go get the extra weapon that some people probably never discover. Yeah, guess what? That's not really a wall. And that place right south of where I just went into this teleporter was actually where I picked up the flamethrower. So you can actually barely see that teleporter off the top of the screen. I forgot to mention that when I got the flamethrower. So it kind of clues you into something being there. And now we've got homing missiles, basically. And now we're gonna just go right in here. Because this is the next place we need to go. So I'm not going to use those homing missiles too terribly often, but there are a few places they will come in handy. I'm also going to avoid taking damage here, hopefully. Yeah, okay. Dude, okay. Well, so much for avoiding taking damage. This is probably fine, though. And at this point, we're back into the normal route, by the way. So, like, this is the next item you normally have to get. Again, it is possible to route incorrectly to where you end up going to a place where you need this item before you get it. I think I started a thought earlier where, like, this game, and I failed to finish it, saying that, like, this game kind of has Metroidvania aspects where it gives you items, like, you need items to progress. And I honestly wish the game did more with that, because it's really cool. So this hologram basically distracts enemies. And later we'll use it to distract something else, basically. Alright, we're fine, because there's going to be another health refill really soon. I could have actually used the guided missiles to destroy that capsule, because it takes like 5 missiles and can technically be faster to do with that. But I'm not used to having it. Let's go right back in here. We will see that other room later. So now we're going to go into here. We totally passed that teleporter before en route to the secret weapon. Also, yes, you can make those things explode on you simply by approaching the health refill station from below it. If you approach from the sides, for whatever reason the blobs can't hit you because you're like 2 pixels higher. I think Zaki actually investigated that. Whoa, please don't get hit here. That's really dumb. Alright. I did that really slow because I totally set myself up wrong. This is a part where you really don't want to be losing tons of health, because that was the last health refill before the second boss. Whoops. That was dumb. I'm taking way too much damage here. Alright, normally I would use the bouncy laser here, but I'll use the missiles just to illustrate a point. I need to go over here to distract that barrier over there. There, that thing's dead now. Normally you'd have to fire the bouncy lasers at it for a couple of seconds. But that was why we needed the hologram, because that barrier switches sides to whatever side you're on, but it gets distracted by the hologram. And now we have proximity mines. Well, they're timed mines, they're not proximity mines. I keep calling them that. Yeah, you know what? These missiles are really good against those guys. They're really not good against these guys. I shouldn't have done that. I was trying to switch back to that. So now we have another crab, but this guy is gonna get totally melted by the flamethrower pretty much. Okay. He kind of backed away from the mine blast. That made it take a little longer. What? Pfft, that guy faked me out. Wow, both those guys avoided that? I don't know if I've ever seen that. Guess I'm doing this the old-fashioned way. What is that guy doing? Alright, I have missiles now. I can probably use those. Yup. That is like, I call that the worst room in the game because of those flyers and how random they are. Okay. Now we're going to use missiles and hopefully make the second boss not a problem. So the second boss is impervious to flamethrower, which is why I'm not using flamethrower on him. Yeah, he's dead already. The missiles kind of make him into a joke. If you didn't have the missiles, you would have to use the shotgun on him. So this is fine. Now the only thing left is don't screw up the final boss, and we'll have the 1cc and it'll be fine. Oh, what am I doing? I guess I can use missiles on this guy too, I didn't actually think about it. I'm actually not sure that was any faster than using the shotgun on him. Meaning the spread weapon. So now we're in the virtual world. That's kind of what happened in that cutscene. Which actually was, like when we picked up that thing. I'm taking more damage than I should here. That was kind of foreshadowed in a cutscene way at the beginning of the game. I'm not sure if that guy died. He did. Okay, cool. Also, this music confuses the heck out of me because it feels like I should be on some kind of tropical vacation, not in a virtual world full of robots and crap. Alright, final boss time. Okay, and we're done. We'll say 24.5 minutes. It was probably like 24, 27, or 28. But I mean, I wasn't really aiming for a speed run here. I was aiming for 1cc, so the fact that I still got it in less than 25 minutes is pretty cool. Because back before I learned to speedrun this, Zachy and I did a casual speedrun race, and we were both over 30 minutes, so that says something. But yeah, there we go. That was a 1cc of Operation Logic Bomb. Also, the reason that I stopped the timer right after the last boss and before that final room is because that final room doesn't exist in the Japanese version of the game, so speedrun timing does actually stop at the final boss when it receives last hit. And you can always tell when it gets last hit by when the blobs explode, because they explode when the boss dies, basically. But there you go. That's Operation Logic Bomb. I will probably try to do some speedruns